Welcome back to the Holotable Games Network. I'm Ginger Joey.
And I'm Corey, but you can call me the Spider.
Oh, that's from this Spider Noir on
Yep, yep.
Prime with Nicolas Cage, which is actually a very good series. If you guys have Prime and you
Yeah,
want to watch it, I would encourage watching it. That was actually a fun show.
it was decent, but it was very Nicolas Cage overacting. So I thought a little overacting for me would work as well. Because oh boy, is Nick Caging it
I
up the whole
I
time.
I think as the spider, you definitely get the overacting aspect of it, but when he's playing the private dick, I think his inflections fit the genre very well though.
Yeah, I mean, it not like Bogart or a lot of those other old noir actors were very ranged actors. Love me some Bogart, but Bogart played Bogart.
Sure. But yeah, definitely I would recommend seeing that series if you have not watched that series yet. It was a fun one. So
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was, and watch it in black and white. That's really the way to watch it.
I
I
watched it in color.
think that was the wrong choice. It's
Okay.
it's it's noir. It's made for black and white.
Well, they give you the option, so you can watch it either way you want.
Yeah,
Right.
but make the right
Uh,
choice, obviously.
So this
Anyway,
is our weekly SWUmary. A day late because I was feeling not so great yesterday, so I asked Corey to postpone for us, and he graciously
yeah,
obliged. It was me this time, not Corey.
yeah. It wasn't my fault. I didn't do it.
We are back with our Ashes previews and I guess icons as well, because some of those came out. And then we're
Yeah, it
also
was
going to be
that.
talking about the weekend's tournament scene, which was pretty diverse, to be perfectly honest. We had quite a few things going on, quite a few winners. I mean, we even got
Yeah,
a Zabulba 1-1.
I love that. Some Bobo pops up. Yeah, it was a
We
busy
have,
weekend. Very busy
where did the other one
weekend.
go? A third sister 1-1.
Third sister yellow. Yep, yep.
Granted, yes, some of these you got to look at, number of players, 24, number of players, 22, but
Yeah.
that's still a good representation of what can happen. Like
Yeah,
any
we
deck that
saw
you've
once again.
practiced.
Yeah, this meta, I mean, the big thing we're emphasizing, we just keep coming back to, is you need to be prepared for the big three. They're gonna be there, and they have been there. Like if you look at the stats for the weekend as a whole, top eight was largely Boba's. 28 of the top eight, which was a significant percentage. I don't even know what percentage was, but they were Boba. So you're going to need to be looking out for that. Lando Lake Country, still pretty common, seeing a lot of those. Obi has actually dropped off significantly. We did not see as many Obis in the top eight, only 10 overall. And that's split between Virgin's Temple and 28 Force, but they're still there. They're still popping up. Deidre's had 10 of those. So you're going to see that. You got to be prepared for that, but you're also going to get a lot of weird stuff. We had 4 Poe Data Vaults top 8. Love seeing that. You all know my love for Poe Data Vault. That makes me happy to see. Same with Kazuda Data Vaults. We had 4 of those make the top 8. Like there are a lot of decks that are spiking in there because, as we mentioned before, if you can be good into at least a handful of decks that are going to be the common decks, that's a good chance for you right now. That was, oh my God.
This
Oh, that's gross.
117 player tournament had 5 Boba Fett's and 3 different Boba Fett's because you have Lake Country, Data
Oh,
Vault, and Blue all in the top 8.
that's gross. That's gross. I do not love seeing that, but it is, I mean, again, this is what we're seeing. So you gotta, the top thing to be prepared for is Bobas. Bobas will spike you. If you do not have some way to deal with Top of the Summit, you probably shouldn't be playing that deck because you're gonna hit a Boba at some point in time. Like there are certain things that you need to be able to handle and deal with, and that's one of them. But again, don't be afraid to just try your random deck that you think might be decent. It may actually be decent depending on the draws that you get.
Yeah, I mean, we took decks that we were comfortable with, but they did not do as well when we had
Nope.
RPQ. but that doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't do it. I mean, it was funny because when I saw that third sister one, I was like, I should have just stuck with third sister for this whole time. It's
Yeah,
like I
I
eventually could
mean,
have gotten there.
I'm going, man, I spent so much time on Poe Yellow, and it turns out Poe Datavolt is what I should have stuck with the whole time.
I think the clause for me is always I don't get to play as much as I would like to get the
Yeah,
reps in on the decks to really nail things home. So sometimes I'm just
yeah,
either like throwing stuff against the wall.
that's my big thing. I mean, I try to get reps in, but really, especially this last 3, 4 months, I have not gotten the time in to really get the reps in to be prepared as well as I should be. And that definitely affected me, along with poor draws, as we discussed. Like sometimes you just get the wrong opponents, and I definitely got some wrong opponents in that match in that PQ. But that is how it goes sometimes. But that said, yeah, still brewing stuff, still coming up with stuff, and if anybody likes any of our decks that they see and wants to take it somewhere and maybe do better with it, feel free. I just appreciate to see any of my decks do well.
I do believe we have one more week of PQs. Maybe this was the last weekend. I have to double check on that. But
One, maybe two. We're still going to have showdowns coming up. We're finally getting at least a few showdowns up here. Not enough. I don't know what's going on with showdown scheduling. We're still limited in what we've seen so far, but
maybe it's just our area, but it feels like showdowns kind of get pushed back to by the wayside. It's like
yeah,
they're just like we'll get to them when we get to them kind of thing, instead of actually like making a hey, we're gonna push this happening. So
yeah,
um
we don't see it quite as strong anymore.
well, we had 2 months before our PQ from the release of the set. I mean, we could have had showdowns leading up to our PQs, and we didn't. So it was just kind of weird that that's the way that that went down. So
Yeah, I don't know what happened, if it was that Fantasy Flight hadn't got the showdown kits out in time or what, but I don't know why
stores
it
had
took
them.
so long to schedule.
I believe stores had them. I don't. I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's just
moot
frustrating.
point. Moot point.
But anyway,
Point is now we are slowly moving into the Ashes meta, and a lot of people are preparing, including ourselves. Well, me more so than Corey right now, for an Ashes Galactics meta. So,
yes.
because he's not sure he's going yet, which is why I
Yeah,
say me more so than him. I'm guaranteed
that's
to go.
true. I'm still preparing. I'm still making these decks and testing them. We'll find good stuff. But
Yeah.
yes, no, I'm not 100% if I will be able to make it or not.
One thing that I kind of encourage people to do is as you are buying your Ashes product, we're only going to have I think 2 weeks, maybe 1 week before we go to actually get your product and go.
Yep.
As you're buying your product and opening your boxes, instead of just ripping packs and going, find a group and maybe practice a draft with your box,
Yes.
because then you will get that practice drafting this set before you get to Galactics. Because if you manage to make Galactics, say you're doing the last chance and you get in for the actual day of on Saturday, the first 3 games are draft. So
Yep.
they are a limited format, and you need to have a good grasp on what is going to be good, because Ashes will be the set you are drafting. So I would highly encourage you to practice by opening your box via a draft, opposed to just ripping and going. My 2 cents.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Speaking of which, I think we've said plenty about the current meta. It's kind of we're at the end of the lawless meta, so it's kind of just dwindling down at this point. But boy, do we have new Ashes cards to talk about. We had a good number of new previews this last week, and definitely want to touch on those.
Sure. So we can just start off the top. Choose your path. Vigilance, anyone for 2?
Sorry, I was coughing there a little bit. We're talking about
Uh,
choose your path. Yes and no. I mean, it's a good heal, yes, but it doesn't kill something like Vigilance does.
sure. But sometimes the heal was the bigger factor for Vigilance than the killing part was. Most
Could
people were
be.
healing and milling with Vigilance more than they were killing with Vigilance.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I do think this is a auto at least 2 of in probably most of the force decks that are floating around. Most of the force decks are mid to late game decks. focused on using their big units to close things down, this is something that can help keep them alive a little longer. A 5 heal is a really good heal for 2, and that's going to be enough by itself.
I see this as a sideboard card. I see this as
Potentially
a
sideboard, yes.
potentially bringing in. It's also interesting that the fact that you're almost mixing traits here, because the secondary one is if you control a Mandalorian unit, create a Mandalorian token and give an advantage token to it.
Yeah,
It's interesting that it's a choose one and not that you apply both. Like, granted, for 2, I can see why it's not apply both. It's a really low cost for applying both. But
yeah,
just healing seems pretty meh. It's a little like not progressing your game state in any way, shape, or form. You're more so just on the back foot trying to recover when you do that.
yeah,
Getting just a 2/2 shielded with a advantage token is also kind of meh. It's like pay 2. Well, I mean,
yeah.
yes and no.
Get a
It's
3/2.
pay 2 for a 2/2 with a shield, but you have to have a
Yeah,
Mandalorian already in play. So it's not like you can even substitute this for a turn 1 play, right? So in which case, if you already have a Mandalorian in play, you're playing below rate to actually get this out. So now say you're like on the 3 resource turn 2, you're paying 2 to get a 3/2 temporarily with a shield, and then you have 1 resource left over to do something. Or yeah,
yeah.
I think this is
We'll
a pretty
see.
okay card. I don't think it's great.
I foresee it being good in force decks only. Like there is value potentially in force decks, and it may just be a sideboard, but 5 heal for 2 is a very good card in a force deck that's going to have a bunch of force units out all the time anyway. So in that instance, it does have some value. But we'll see where it comes down to. The next card I think is more exciting.
I would say the
I
only
think this
negative to
is,
that though is it has
yeah,
to be your base. It's not like you can heal a unit that is a force
that is
unit.
true.
So
But it's the base healing that is where you. I mean, that's a major thing that you need a lot.
sure.
A 2 cost 4 heal, like yeah. I was playing 2 cost ships, the 2/3 ship for 4 heal in Thrawn. Yes, I got a ship for a little bit as well, but really he was there for the 4 heal.
Yeah, I see Choose Your Path after Icons comes out being very, very good, though. There's a
Yes, that
particular
is
card
a
in Icons that makes me go, oh, that's gross.
yes. But the next card though, I think is pretty exciting. This is I would say one of the strongest support cards we've seen so far.
I think
I
this
think
is
this
the
is
most
potentially a
iconic
very good
support
one.
card. I mean,
Yeah,
this is the most indicative of a Fleet Lieutenant card in support that we have seen. For those that don't know what a Fleet Lieutenant is, Fleet Lieutenant was kind of like the derivative card in Spark of the Rebellion, which allowed was a 3/3 for 3 that came in and allowed you to attack with a rebel and gave it +2 attack. That's all it did, right?
yep,
But it allowed that action compression. The support mechanic itself is essentially what the Fleet Lieutenant did. That's why people are calling it like the Fleet Lieutenant mechanic is it gave +2 attack and you attack with a different unit. So this is giving +2 attack if they're damaged. Okay, fine. But you're also getting overwhelm. So now you're doing that over damage on top of it. And it's for 3. I think this is the
yep,
most like lateral interpretation of what Fleet Lieutenant was. And it's universal. You don't have to have a rebel or anything else like that. You can use it on anybody you want. The thing that
yep.
sucks is that it's villain only.
Yeah, his villain only is unfortunate, but I definitely see this one getting some play.
Yeah.
You're going to get some aggro decks that are going to be able to take advantage of that. Yeah, giving the other unit the +2 and overwhelm is very nice. I mean, there is the restriction, obviously, attacking a damaged enemy unit, but there are certain decks, Boba, where that's not going to be much of a problem. Yeah, yeah. This is going to be 3 oven Bobas, and you're going to need a card coming at you.
You keep cutting out a little bit, so I don't know what's
Oh yeah,
going on.
sorry. Yeah, but weird. My audio is being a little feisty. Let's try again. I was saying it is definitely going to be something you're going to be seeing in Boba decks, 100%, and you're going to need to be prepared for this in Boba decks because it is a great card for Boba.
Yeah, like I said, I think the fact that it is only villainy makes it pretty universally good. I mean, I was always big on the lieutenant out of the Hoth set because it did not
Yep.
require anything, and it basically did what the Fleet Lieutenant did at a higher cost, meaning that it cost 4 instead of 3, but it gave the plus
Yeah.
2 attack, and you got to attack with any unit you want. This being in any villain now, you're not restricted to the aggression aspect, and it basically is doing the same thing. So I think this is
Yep.
definitely going to see play.
Yeah.
Um,
Liking that. The next card, and we could Master Stroke is a card designed to stop go wide in a format that doesn't have a go wide deck. So
Not
yeah,
yet.
moving
We don't
on.
know. This is
If we get
supposedly
a
the go wide set, so
yeah, if we get go wide decks, this card could be good, but we'll see.
I do you think this card replaces aggressive negotiations? Because it's another one of those ones that doesn't
No,
really have a top end.
but it's contingent on your opponent,
Right.
whereas aggressive is not. You do
Correct.
not want to rely on your opponent ever. So yeah, no, that it's a strong meh from me, a very strong. Eh.
But it's also only
Uh,
in the same arena as well. So it's not just like it's a universally
yeah,
your opponent's
it's
units. It's they have to be in the same arena as the unit that you're using this on. So
yeah.
cool artwork
So
though.
iffy on that. Great artwork though. Yeah, I love triangles. Always happy to see triangles. That said, Pergil. Oh boy, is that a good card. I like that.
Oh,
Um, a 3/6 ambusher. Oh, that doesn't sound great. But then you notice the rest of the tech where while it ambushes for +2.
mhm.
So this is a 5/6 ambusher in space for 5.
Yep.
5 will kill most of everything in space.
Yep. Um,
So this is
this
great. Well, most of everything that goes up to 5 costs, basically.
sure. I will say I kind of feel like this is how the ambush mechanic should have worked from the get-go,
Yeah.
is that they should have had units that had lower power and they got their bonus when they ambushed, and that was kind of the whole point of them was they sneak attack, we got you first, and then they're weaker on the back end of it. This thematically makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
I will say this though, for being a heroic Purgle, that's the ugliest damn Purgle I've ever seen in my life because he
I agree
looks
with
like
that.
a
Yeah.
mean Moby Dick to me. It's like he's
That
just
is
like he's gonna swallow you whole. That artwork is hysterical to me.
that is great. He does not look heroic once. But
No.
yeah, no,
What
I was excited the second I saw that card.
it's not Moby Dick. It's from Pinocchio. It's Monstrosity or whatever that
Yeah,
the
Monstro, I
whale
think it
from
was.
Pinocchio. That's
Yeah,
what that one reminds me of.
you got you. That is what it is. Yep, yep.
That's
I
I'm gonna
see it.
start calling it that. I'm gonna have to look up that name, and that's what that name of that card is from now on to me. Is
Yep,
Monstris, whatever the heck
Monstro.
it is.
So yeah,
All right.
really exciting, genuinely great ambush card, which is then followed by a genuinely
Wait, hang on. Let's double back
unambushed
real quick.
card. Yeah,
The Purgle still. So
yeah,
other things to consider which are interesting. A, it's a space unit. B, it's a creature, which
yep,
means Kanan can mess with it. You can give it shields after it's come into play. You can equip lightsabers and almost any other upgrade that you want to this in space without it being a pilot upgrade because of the fact that it's not a vehicle. This actually has a lot of things going for it, even beyond the really
yeah.
ridiculous ambush. The other
Oh
thing
yeah,
is, it's a
as you all see
common.
later this week. Oh, sorry.
I said the other thing is, it's a common.
Yeah, we're you're going to be seeing it a lot during drafts. That's for our during
Yes.
drafts and sealed. That's for sure.
Yes.
Be prepared for Purgles. No, I agree, and I mean, yeah, that is well worth mentioning. You might be seeing this very week a little bit of Kanan action, but this is making me think yellow needs to be a build even more now.
Yep. Yeah. That was before we
Yeah.
got this preview.
Yes, before we saw this, I was doing another one, but
Yep.
yeah, that's good. But as I was saying though, following that, like Purgle, exciting. Then we got another ambusher that, well, it ambushes. It does that. Oh, Kellerin, you got such a great card before. This one, as a legendary, I mean, maybe there's going to be a bunch of support around it. There is some decks it works in. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Lando, faith in your friends, spy tokens makes it good, but to cover what it says, this unit gets +1 for each other unit, friendly or enemy, with 0 power.
And that's the thing that I don't think you're considering enough, is that it is all units on the board are going to give
But
it the
with
plus
0
one.
power.
Yes. But it's like all
Yes.
units on the board with 0 power are going to give it this bonus. Think of all the decks that run Owen Lars. Owen Lars is the 0 power.
Fair.
You got the spies are the obvious choice for the go wide factor, but there is other units that are going to have 0 power. I mean, look at the new Grogu leader that comes out. He's got 0
Oh,
power.
yeah. Oh,
So, I
yeah.
mean, you
Grogu,
could
it's
use
obviously a card designed for that new Grogu leader.
sure. But I'm saying
Yeah.
is like I fully see this as most likely being a 4 cost 5/5 with ambush. So I think you're likely to get a +2 out of it, and even that +2, even a +4 even puts it on par with other 4 drops. Sorry, a +1 to make it a 4/5. You're on par with
Yeah.
other 4 drops that are in the game. So, and now you get an ambush 4/5. A Han Solo is a 5 cost 4/5 with ambush.
Yeah. No,
So
I agree that there is. I said, I don't think it is terrible card. I think there is some value. Again, I go back to you're reliant on your opponent for having 0 cost units. Well, in the aspect of where you're saying you're looking at everything,
but
certain
that doesn't
decks are
make you
going to be able to build around
reliant
it.
on them.
Yeah, but that's where I kind of say I do foresee it. For one thing, I do think it is a good sideboard card against Lando and his faith in your friends and any other faith in the friends deck that might pop up. So there is going to be value sideboard. I think Lando Lake Country is putting that card in immediately because it's very good in his deck with faith in your friends,
I
and
think
it's
Qui-Gon
heroic and it
uses
covers
it.
everything. Well, what?
I think Qui-Gon uses it. This is
Qui
another
Gon can use
force
it with the
user with
bounce.
ambush lower on the curve.
Yeah, it is an ambush lower on the curve for Qui Gon, so it does have some value. I don't find it nearly as exciting as that heroic Pergil, and I don't think as a legendary, it's quite legendary level.
The legendaries
When
are
you compare
usually
it
just
to
the named
Pergil,
characters in this universe. That's kind of what
that's
has been
true.
the MO for this game since the start of it. Is like it's not necessarily that they're powerful. I mean, I look at like they always want to tell you, oh, the rare cards are dictated for like balance for limited and stuff like that. This last set, we had Mastery as a common. That card was bonkers as a common in limited format. It's like we
Yeah,
just didn't have enough stuff to remove it. I don't necessarily think that the limited rare legendary to offset stuff has any bearing whatsoever. They can say it. I don't necessarily believe it.
that's fair. Yeah, but yeah, we'll see. I want to see more ways to get 0 power units to make him better. That's kind of my viewpoint.
I will give you this. In limited, in this set, I don't think he's going to be great because, as we have
No,
seen, even the tokens you create are 2/2s. So
yeah,
I
they're all
don't
two
think you're
twos.
going to see a lot of 0 cost units in this set as a standalone, but I do think he has great potential for going forward.
Possibly, potentially.
All right. Balin.
Balin, yeah, that's a card.
So Balin is a 6 cost, aggression, cunning, villainous, force user, a 6/6. 6/6/6. That's very amusing to me.
Very nice. Yeah.
He has overwhelm. And when played and when the attack ends, if an enemy base was damaged this phase, give an advantage token to a unit. If a friendly upgrade was defeated this phase, you may exhaust a unit. So he's kind of doing things like Sabine does in the heroic side, only a bit slower and
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. It he does things. It just doesn't feel like any of his things are statted where it should be for his cost and his restrictiveness. This is a red, yellow, black card. That is
Hmm.
a very restrictive selection of like having 3 is restrictive. It also costs 6. I want something better than a 6/6 with a very contingent and kind of meh when played and when attack ends ability.
Well, it does something when it comes into play, so that's at least something. It if
If
as long as you
if
don't
you've damaged
damage,
your base.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as long as you dealt damage to a base, then you're getting an advantage token on maybe a second unit you're gonna throw at the base. So that's gonna give you like a small buff. Um, and if a friendly upgrade was defeated, aka if you had other advantage tokens on a different unit that then went away with the previous attack, you're now exhausting a unit. So you're buffing a second unit, exhausting a unit, all for attacking with your first unit that say had an advantage token and or a shield token or something that went away. I think it can come down and have an impact. You have to build the deck around it correctly. But a 6 cost 6 with Overwhelm is also a great thing to have in a meta that we're going to have stacking advantage tokens, which is increasing the power by that much. And
Potentially.
also keep in mind that red, yellow are the advantage token colors. So
Yep.
you don't get them outside of red, yellow. So in that regard, thematically, he makes sense with the combination. What I find funny is we also got a leader spoiled for Balin, and it's blue. So
Yeah, of
it's
course.
the
Yeah,
leader has nothing to do with the unit, is what makes me kind of chuckle at this thing. But in limited format, I think Balin is a great bomb to actually draft.
yeah,
And I
but
think
he's
he
rare.
has.
You're not going to see him that often.
I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying, like, if you
Yeah.
do see him, I think he's a very good unit to actually a bomb to actually draft at that point in time. I do think that he is going to need a good build around to be super effective, but I do think that there is options for him.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's okay. It's a card. It exists. It'll probably not see much play, in my opinion, but we'll find out.
Who knows?
Next,
Let's skip over the leader. We'll come back and do the leaders
yeah, we'll talk about the leader.
afterwards.
I do want to touch on the next one because if you can't see on video, there's just drool going down my chin, staring at this card. One must destroy to create.
Great
Oh
art
boy, is
piece.
this yeah, great art piece. Is this the most exciting card for me this set? By far. What it does is defeat a friendly non-leader unit. Then you may play that unit from your discard pile for free. Obviously, the thing that looked immediately pop for me is y'all know how much I love my Thrawn 4. Oh my god, that card in Thrawn 4 is disgusting. Let me
Yep.
just proc any of my when defeateds twice and put that unit back out to use it again in the future. Okay, that's great. Oh, it's great legacy run. 12 damage, put the legacy run back out.
Mhm.
It is incredibly powerful, I think, in a Thrawn 4 deck. And I think you're going to see both Thrawn 4 yellow and a Thrawn 4 and the Thrawn 4 red that I've been playing and am doing testing of new versions are using a full 3 of this. It's just insanely good. Is it going to be great in every other deck out there? Maybe. I think ambush decks can use it. I think there are certain other decks that are going to find a lot of value at it. But yeah, for Thrawn 4 specifically, oh boy, that card's exciting.
There's a couple other reasons you would want to use this card.
Anything
In
with a good win
addition,
played,
I was gonna say, in
obviously.
addition to win defeated, you want to look at really key win played cards. You also might want to look at just high health units that you can reset their health on.
Yep.
So say they take a lot of damage or something. I mean, one card that I think is going to be seen probably play as we go along more and more is that the choking card, choke on aspirations.
Yeah.
So in theory, you can have a unit out there that say has 6 health, and you choke 5 damage onto it, heal your base for 5, and then one must destroy to create. You kill the unit to bring it right back and put it back to full health. I can see some plays like that potentially coming out of cards like this.
Yep.
Are they as optimal? No, but I'm just pointing out that it has a multitude of versatility uses available to it. Again, I'm bummed. It's only villainous.
Yeah. But for any villainous deck, going to want to at least experiment with. Test it in your decks if you have, yeah, if you have a one played, if you have a bunch of one defeateds, if you have any reason that, yeah, you might want to, as I said, ambushes, I think are very obvious. If you have ambushes, if you have, yeah, if you're a sentinel heavy deck, it's a good way to refresh your sentinel. Oh, what's his name? Chirrut is really annoying. and I almost got him dead, and now he just got reset again, and now he's even more annoying. Great. Like there's a lot of good value in this card. Like that that is a very exciting villainy card by far.
Yeah. Next, we have Previsla. He is an 8 cost, 6/6 vigilance villainy. Mandalorian official. I think the official tag could be very key in this
Yeah.
unit going forward. Um, when played, you can defeat any number of non leader units with a total of 6 or less remaining HP. Create a Mandalorian token for each unit defeated this way. I'm rereading that and wondering if this is even worse than I thought it was. A total of
6 or less remaining HP. And it's remaining HP, so that actually is not is
total. Okay.
decent-ish. I mean,
No,
it's
in my head, I was thinking, does this mean it's like I can defeat any number of units with 6 or less, period? No, it's you
no,
have
no,
to add up
it's
the
just
health to 6, just
yeah,
like Cad Bane
it's
was back in the day. So,
yeah, it's decent. I'm definitely going to be testing it. Like it is a villainy has been needing some stronger top end because right now heroic top end has been the powerhouse. So this is a little bit more top end for for blue black villainy, which I know some people such as Joey might not love to see, but it is probably a probably going to be a decent card at least. I getting that kill out of the when played is very nice. And you're going to get probably 1 to 2 Mandalorian tokens, which 2/2 shieldeds are not a bad thing to go along with the 6/6.
if you get 2 of these, you're basically paying 8 to get a 10/10 in stats.
Yeah,
That's on, I believe, Bendu level, right?
yeah,
So that's not the worst thing in the world when you're spreading it around.
no,
I think Previsla is the best answer to like a Queen Amidala type situation where it's like now we have a villainous go wide capability. Does it come into play later? Yes. So, but typically blue villain wants to be at the later end of the game anyway because they're trying to
yeah,
stall. And as far as like my distaste for blue villainy, it has nothing to do with blue villainy as a unit. It's there's too much raw removal in blue villainy. That's what I dislike. It's
which
like
this
I,
is
if
more
you want to
removal
play a
for it.
unit that I have to then work around and solve a puzzle on a board for, I'm all fine for that. I like solving the puzzles of the board as they get created with the different units. I just don't like the pure, go away. It's like
Yeah,
that's what I'm just like, meh. So this is because I mean I can work around this because this is hey you got 6 health of stuff. If I can make my stuff have more than 6 health, or I can control what you can potentially take away by manipulating my own units to then work around what you potentially can play out, that's a puzzle to solve. I'm fine with that. You know,
yeah,
it's just like the whole like the no glory only results. That card is like okay, okay.
yeah.
Goes in every single blue villainy deck because it's like, okay, I can just answer every single problem. The only thing you can't answer is Ray at the moment. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that's the kind of stuff that just gets obnoxious to see. And then in internal, it just gets compounded even worse because now you have so many redundant answers that they're doing the exact same thing. So,
Yep. Yeah.
anyway, rant over. I think this card is great, honestly.
Yeah.
My first thought for this deck is actually a Krennic Blue. And the
Yeah.
reason why I say that I think that that official stat could be relevant is you do have that neutral card that she's a 3 cost 3/3. And when defeated, your next official cost 1 less to put into play. So you kill her with Krennic on the 6 resource turn, you're getting a discount of 1 plus you get a credit. Now you have your 8 to then play Previsla down and then reestablish the board and wipe something out at the same time. I
Yep.
think Krennic Blue has a really strong calling to ask for this unit going forward.
Yep. No, I think it's going to be a good card. We'll definitely see play. The next one, I'm iffy on. I do need to test this in specifically Thrawn 4 because it does look like a good Thrawn 4 card. I think it's more the Thrawn 4 yellow that will play this, but
Because of the force.
the yeah, it's a force unit. So it's a 6 cost 5/6. Not the worst stat line, not the best, but it has support, and the thing it passes along is it's when defeated, and it has a when defeated, you may give a unit -2/-2 for this phase. So this is why I'm saying in a Thrawn 4, obviously, you can swing in with your Night Sister Warrior or something and potentially give a unit -4/-4 by killing that when you swing, when you play this.
Yep.
So it does have a good kill potential in specifically Thrawn 4. And that's why I'm pretty sure Thrawn 4 Yellow Force should be playing this. I'm not sure it's going to fit in my red deck, but we'll see. But it is decent for that. I'm not so sure it's valuable enough to play in any other decks, though. A -2/-2 is not as good for that 6 cost.
The fact that you don't need the force, unlike say Karis, to present that -2/-2 gives it more of an appeal.
Does
The
help.
relevance at the 6 drop of that -2/-2 is yet to be determined if it is valuable or not. It does allow you to trade up into some stuff with some smaller units if you have them on the board. I'm just not a big fan of the fact that the support that you're giving the unit is something that encourages you to die.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if I can attack in and not die, then great. Because realistically, if I'm trying to go base with whatever I'm supporting in, this isn't really like giving me any benefit. It might as well be blank at that point in time.
Yeah.
So it definitely leans into the I'm using my smaller units as fodder to take out your bigger things. So you're wanting to trade up. What's the best units to trade up? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not certain. Again, as I said, Thrawn 4 is the only thing that like I think it makes sense in. Just because when it becomes a -4/-4, that lets you trade up a lot of things.
Well, like I said, you could have
So
a Karis that you're running into something, and then they do their 2 damage. You use the force to give them -2, and then this is giving them another -2. So that's kind of like doing that. You're
yeah,
trading a
you can do
6
that
health
too. Yeah.
unit for your 2 health unit.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a few other ways, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think she's the greatest. But I think she's not terrible. And also she is an uncommon worth
yeah,
mentioning. And I think in draft and limited, she's probably gonna be pretty good.
probably. I would say the other advantage that you have with her is that the -2 from the when defeated does not have to go on the unit that you died to. So in
Yes.
theory, I could run a unit into somebody and then give the -2 to a Mandalorian token that's over there and just wipe that out off the board. Because we are going to be seeing a
Yep.
lot of 2/2 shielded units, and a -2/-2 is a clean kill off of those. So that is something to consider that you don't have to go to the same target of what you attacked into.
Yep. Yeah. So we skip the next leader and let's go to the student guides the master. Give a friendly unit +1/+0 for this phase for each other friendly unit with less power than it. Yeah, that's another one that's a card. it's yeah. It if go wide decks, I mean, I keep saying this obviously. If go wide decks, maybe it's going to be good, but I've yet to see go wide decks work.
And we just haven't had enough things that consistently provide that. Hopefully, we're getting more this set, and hopefully, it's going to do better than Twilight did with the clone troopers and the droids.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, that's kind of all we have to say about that one. I don't think there's much to say.
it,
Casca's worth just touching on briefly, which I think Casca's decent in any deck that puts out tokens. A 4/4 Sentinel is not terrible. And if you're going to have token units in any form, not just Mandalorians, if you're making spy tokens, if you're making any form of tokens, she's going to be worth looking at because again, yeah, a 4/4 is not a bad Sentinel.
again, a Krennic deck where you play your 2 drop, you sacrifice your 2 drop the next turn to get a credit. Casca then, oh, look, you lost a unit in the turn that it was played because you sacrificed it yourself. Now
Yep.
you get to put down a 4/4 Sentinel on turn 2 with a 2/2 shielded unit.
Yep.
That's a pretty good curve.
Yeah, that's pretty strong. So yeah, I think she's going to be decent in certain decks. And yeah, if you're playing tokens, you're going to want to look. If you're playing any token units, that is, you want to look at her.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's a strong one. Paz Vizsla is, I mean, it's a good anti-control card, but I don't know. I'm not excited by. I mean, 4/7 is a nice butt on a Sentinel for 5, but the when defeated is not anything amazing.
The when defeated is only problematic if your opponent is playing no glory only results, or
Yes.
they have a way of turning off your unit before they kill it, such as using a tree remembers and then running uh, some way of killing it. Running units into it won't trigger the when defeated anyway. It's if they're defeated in a different way. I think what you want to try to do with this unit is if you're running it, you want to have a way of killing it yourself when it gets low on health to purposely spawn the Mandalorian tokens.
Possibly,
So
yeah.
if you can figure out a way to do that, that's what I think would be the quintessential way to build this. I do think that he is one of those units that you want to say have Lando Calrissian in your sideboard. And if you're playing against blue villainy and they could have no glory only results, you swap him out for Lando. And that way
Yeah.
you still get a very good sentinel, but you are not going to get blown out by that one card being used against you at just the wrong time.
Yeah.
Because that card, if you play this and they play no glory only results, you're kind of cooked because you just gave them two shielded units, and it's just like that's
It,
gross.
if you play this against my Thrawn 4 or against a Thrawn 4 deck and I no glory that and get 4/2/2 Sentinels or 2/2 shielded Mandalorians,
I scoop.
you're in real trouble. Yeah, that's that's I think the biggest problem with this card is, oh my god, you can get burned so hard. Like,
But that
yeah, it's
seven
not
health,
everything.
that
Seven
seven
health is
health
not
is a
bad.
huge threshold to get over.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
big nut.
as we even saw, there's a lot of six drops that don't even have seven attack.
Yeah.
So that's a huge one. Um, how many more do we have? I think it was just down to the
We
bases,
got
right?
no, we still got a ways to go actually. So we're not
Yeah.
going to get to icons. We'll do icons next week.
Okay.
I think will be the way because we're not going to get through that much. So, but we'll go a little faster. I don't think about a pageantry. Uh, again, another card that exists. I mean, it's an exhaust. It's not the worst. It's
It's
a
a
good way to
double
exhaust the
exhaust.
problem units. It's a double exhaust. Luke Skywalker though has potential. I mean, people are trying to find a way to break him. That's really the obvious is Queen Amidala into Luke is very good, very very good. That is an automatic turn him on, do 3 damage to every enemy unit when you play him next turn if they didn't kill one of your spies.
Mm-hmm.
So there is some potential plays with him. People are obviously looking at it saying, hey, how can we get this more reliable? Because that's the only way he's valuable. 5/5 stat line for 6 is not a good stat line, even with the Restore 1. So he is not a good 6-drop unit himself. So it needs to be, but if you can hit that when played every time, he's really good.
I think he's situationally good because,
Yes.
especially as we're going into a meta that is going to basically say, okay, here's some 2/2 shielded tokens. It's if you have a lot of shields on your opponent's side of the board, that 3 damage
Yes,
does
that is true.
absolutely nothing. And I think he is fantastic in against decks like say Vader that are just going to go super wide with all these like little low cost units. You just
Yeah.
mop them up in one go. I think I think his ability is not going to be as board clearing as people think it's going to be. And I think that that is going to have him falling off after the very initial aspect. I could be wrong, but that's just,
Yeah,
I just don't see that
that's
right
fair.
now.
Yeah, but people are trying. It's definitely a card that is of interest, but yeah, we'll see if it becomes playable.
Sure.
I also think our next card, Admiral Akbar, is one to look at potentially getting some use. We've got Kazuda Data Vault, we've got Poe Data Vault, we've got a number of pilot decks that could potentially utilize this card very well. It's a 6/6 for 5. First of all, great. That's a good stat line. We're happy to see that. But even better, it's got a when played, you may defeat this unit. If you do, search the top 10 cards of your deck for any number of space units with a combined cost 5 or less and play each of them for free.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
You can pull a blue leader from that. And if you have 7 resources, 5/5 off of him.
You cut out.
Oh, sorry. You could pull a blue leader out of your deck, or out of your deck, and for 2 more, if you have a 7 resources, you could also ambush for 5 and get a 2-drop spaceship as well. Like there's a lot of good plays that could come out of this leader. So I'm pretty excited to give him a try.
I just love the versatility of him.
Yes.
It's anytime I can do one, like I honestly, this is why I liked pilots as a mechanic, is that it gave a lot of my units options built into them. I can play them this way or that way. I'm not like pigeonholed into, well, this card is just DOA at this point in time because I can't play it because you have this, that, another thing. Oh, well, since you have this, that, another thing, I'm going to come over here and do this thing instead.
Yeah.
Giving that option and that versatility is something that, as a deck builder, I really love to try to like find ways to maximize that. So I like this card for that reason alone.
Yep. And yeah, as I said, a 6/6 for 5 is perfectly viable. Like that you can just put that threat out. I mean, Poe was a 6. Well, I mean, he technically
You did
swung
a
for
lot
8 or more.
more
He did
than
a lot
this guy
more.
does.
Yes. But
Because if you're playing
still,
this as a unit,
having
it's
that
just a
6
6/6.
available, but a 6/6 is still not bad. Like that is still decent damage at 5.
I will say
Um,
this: there is that new unit that's a 4-cost 5/5 vanilla. That into
yeah.
this is just curving stats in your favor. So
Yeah, that's a lot of stats. So yeah, I like him a lot. I think he's going to be good. I think he's every pilot heroic deck needs to look at him. I think they should be considering putting him into their decks.
sure.
So
All
that's
right.
good. Cricks, you can cover Cricks, but no, I don't have a lot to say on Cricks. So you get to talk about him.
When played, you may play a heroic unit from your hand. It costs 2 less for each arena in which you control the most units. This is a win more card. It's just you're
Yeah,
already winning the game at that point in time, and he's potentially allowing you to play him plus another unit for free. So, but you're not really playing him on curve if this is happening, honestly. And
no.
I just I think it's too much of a setup and it meh payoff. So I could be wrong, but
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. It's just okay. If your opponent went space, turn 2, you can drop him in a 2-drop.
yep.
Yay! Like, yeah, the stats are terrible. 3/2 for 3, not good at all. It just, yeah, I don't think it's a playable card.
Like I said, I think you're correct in that you're only ever gonna get the -2 discount. If you get the -4, you're already way winning the game at that point
Yeah,
in time. Um, the LEP Ratcatcher, fun, thematic.
yeah,
I think
cute.
this in freaking Django Fett and Eternal is gross.
Oh god, yeah, it's not a fun Django card. 1 cost exhaust for him. Great,
Yeah,
thanks.
1 cost. I get a unit and you're exhausted. Yeah.
That I can then use to exhaust you later.
Yep.
Oh, thanks. Yep.
Mouse Droid is an interesting Imperial synergy. I think the Moff Gideon that's the leader. I don't think there's enough Imperial synergy. Definitely that we haven't seen. I don't know if we're going to see enough of it coming this set. I really like the concept of that leader. I
Yeah.
think the Mouse Droid kind of would play very nicely in with that because of also the Imperial synergy. But I'm just not sure if that's going to work out. It's an interesting thing
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, it's a if we can build an Imperial deck, it's not bad in that because yeah, it's a 1 cost. It's essentially free 2/1 if you're going to play an Imperial right out after it.
Right.
Um yeah, like it's basically free at that point in time. So it could be good, but yeah, we need an Imperial deck first. And I'm with you as well. I haven't seen enough to say we can have one.
If we can get some good Imperial synergy, though, I think moving Yularen away from droids and into Imperials could be a thing because you could go wide
Potentially.
enough to actually have the multiple units to activate Yularen's ability much more consistently for that
Yep.
aggro range. So that could
And
be a direction you go with Yularen if we can get that synergy to happen.
yep. And Mouse Droid could be quite good in your line. Like that could be it's a 1 attack unit that you can get out turn 1 along with the 2-drop, potentially.
Or you mean a 1 cost unit? Yeah.
Well, no, it's a 1 attack also. Well, it's 1
So
attack
raid one.
for Yularen's purpose. But for Yularen's
Yularen
purpose,
cares
both.
about cost, not attack.
Oh, it's cost. Sorry. Yeah, I don't
But
play a
it's
lot of Evil
still
Iron. I always forget. Yes.
it still makes sense. It's like, oh, I got my
Yeah, it's
one
still
drop, and
cheaper.
now I get a
Yes.
two drop, and now I can swing with both with your Lauren at that point in time. Yes, it
Yeah.
still works in the same concept. It's just wrong metric that you were looking at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Elzar Man, I love a good readied unit. I don't think this is it.
It's fine. I mean,
So let's read what it is. It's a 6 drop, cunning card, 3/7, Force Jedi. While you control a Force leader, this unit enters play ready. So as long as you're playing a Force leader, it doesn't matter if it's a unit or a leader, it's ready. But when played, you distribute up to 5 advantage tokens among other friendly units. Then an opponent searches twice that many cards from the top of their deck for an event, they reveal it, and then they draw it.
yeah, I want to like this more than I do. I I want to like him, but eh, the the idea of the advantage token give out, and I think that's interesting, and I think that does give him potential value. The problem with that is twofold. First of all, obviously, the problem that's printed on there is you're giving your opponent a dig for an event, and in the current meta, events are very, very bad things you don't want your opponent drawing. There's a lot of very dangerous. You don't want to let them get free events out of your card plays.
Yeah.
So that's a huge issue in and of itself. But secondarily, it's also the issue is advantage tokens themselves. Yeah, if you have enough units out of it to be spread out those out. But if you, for example, just have Elzar, you put 5 of them on him. Yeah, he's ready 8/7.
No,
My
no,
opponent
no, no,
just
no, no.
swung a 2 cost into him.
Read them again.
Oh, it's
Among
other
other
friendly units. Yeah, it's not himself.
friendly units.
So it's got
If
to be
he
other
could
units.
put them on himself,
He would be
he would
more
be a
interesting.
much better
Yes.
card. Because
Yes,
of
I
the
think it would help.
fact, then you could literally like time it potentially and make it, oh, you can go digging for the event, but you're not going to be able to play it because you're all exhausted out. Now I
Yes.
can drop this 8/7 ready unit and we can swing at your face with it. You can get rid of it next turn, that's fine. But you don't even get to do that. And I think
Yeah.
that that's the thing that makes me about the unit is the fact that he can't even give them to himself. So he is only ever going to be a 3/7 when you play
Yeah.
him, unless you can use a leader ability that can buff him or something else like that. I mean, there might be ways of doing it, but it's just that fact that you're giving the dig for the event to basically answer him, and you're only going to maybe get 3 damage for 6. I
Yeah.
don't see it right now. Again, I love a unit that comes in ready. I want to like this guy a lot. We better
No,
see
it's,
something later on in Ashes that makes me go, yeah, because I'm not seeing it right now.
I mean, maybe Ahsoka Yellow, the new Ahsoka, because the 3 attack could actually be useful in that.
Yeah, sure. Less
Um,
than somebody you have in play. Sure, because you give the advantage tokens to
yeah.
somebody else, and then you're
Yeah.
using Ahsoka to then give him the buff from Ahsoka. I could
Yeah.
see it. I could see
So
it.
there is possible play for him. Don't get it just wrong,
Sure.
but I think the biggest problem is just the letting your opponent dig for event. I don't want to let my opponent dig for aggressive negotiations or no glory or lost and forgotten. So many other terrible events, shin flurries. Like there's so many things that I don't want my opponent getting. That is a problem with this. Beguiles. Like it's just that I think makes it hard to even consider playing this.
Yeah. So, all right. Fairy Droid.
Yeah,
My first thought on this is Tobias.
sure.
Tobias plays this as a 5/5. Great. Get one swing in or take out one of your opponent's units. You lose your advantage tokens, and then you give this to your opponent as a 1/5 or
Yeah,
less because he's maybe taken damage since then. Okay, fine. I think this is a perfect Tobias card, to be perfectly honest.
yeah. I'll give you that. That is a play for it. That's probably the only play for it.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it's not a good card.
I don't know.
This
It's
is
a
one thing I was
droid.
saying also. The con with advantage tokens is that your opponent can always swing into it and kill them also. That's, I think, the biggest negative for me for advantage tokens is if your opponent attacks you, you lose your advantage tokens as well.
They still take the damage from the advantage tokens before they fall off.
Sure, but if I swing a two attack, like a 2/2 into that, a shielded 2/2, and just take away your advantage tokens, great.
Sure, you can do
Now you
that,
have a
and then you lose
1/5.
your unit, and I still get my unit, and then Tobias gives them to you.
I said a shield. I said a shielded 2/2.
Sure.
But no. But again, that's just a bias. In any other deck, it's this bad. This is very bad.
It depends. I mean, if I can drop this down and then claim initiative, and then you couldn't answer it right away, I'm a 5/5 for 3.
Sure, it's
Like
something.
it's something. I mean, it's potentially something. And again, you can use that card that you like. That oh, I can destroy my own unit, put it back into play, and now you got the advantage tokens again. I'm a 5/5 again.
Yeah,
So
it's a. It is a common, and it does have draft and limited potential. But
yeah, we also don't know. There
constructed
might be other
wise,
cards coming out that work off of the number of advantage tokens on your unit. And in
that is
which
true.
case,
That
I
is
got
true.
4 right away on myself.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
flanking tie interceptor, it's just a 2/2 for 2 that basically action cheats. That's all it does.
Yeah. It's fleet lieutenant with no bonus for 2/2 for 2. Yep.
It
It's a good
is
Vader card.
it's Imperial and it's support, which then triggers Moff Gideon. So a Moff
Yeah.
Gideon yellow then gets the support mechanic as its leader, which is actually probably pretty big, to be perfectly honest. So
Yeah. Yeah, has some
uh
potential play, but overall not great.
yeah.
Womp Rat, also decent. I mean, a 2/1 for 1 with hidden. It's
So the
fine.
rat catcher can just shoot. I love that theme.
Yep, at the
It's
rat
so
catcher
good.
can shoot. Simple and easy.
Yep.
I again another one I don't expect to see much. It's not strong enough. Nowhere to hide is interesting. This is a card I'm definitely going to want to mess with. There's a lot of value in this. I mean, yes, it's -2, -0. This is really a card designed to throw on an opponent. You throw it on an opponent's unit that is maybe hiding behind another sentinel, but you want to kill it. Now you can swing at it. It also has -2 now. Throw it on an opponent's leader is another big play for this. Put it on the opponent's leader, -2 to them. Also, now you can target them and kill them even if they put a sentinel out. So yeah, this could be a decent card.
I think it has niche viability, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Emperor's Champions, I think, is a fantastic card. 4 cost,
Yep.
3/5, shielded with Saboteur. And again, it's Imperial, so it'll turn on Moff Gideon with both shielded and Saboteur, which is huge.
Yeah,
So,
Shield and Saboteur is quite nice. Yeah, I do like that card. I think that's a decent one.
Emperor's Messengers, I think, are interesting. They're Imperials and they're droids. So, the support mechanic is essentially makes them free because
Yeah,
you put them into play, you attack with another unit, and the on attack is ready a resource, which is the one that you just use to put them into play. By the way, here's another zero power unit for Keller and Beck to get a buff off of.
yeah, except it's villainous and Kellen Beck's heroic.
Keller and Beck says all units on the board give him +1 attack.
Again,
So if your
oh yeah,
opponents are playing this card, you're giving Keller and Beck a bonus. I'm not saying it's something you plan around. I'm just saying units exist.
I'm also going to bet your opponents are not playing this card. It's not
I
that
don't know
good
about
of
that.
card.
It's not terrible.
Um, you need something to do with it because once you've gotten you free attack basically.
Advantage tokens.
Advantage tokens maybe. I'm iffy on that one.
Somebody didn't watch the Spotlight deck from FFG, did they?
No, they did not. But
Tyler did a fantastic job of constantly using Emperor Palpatine to give his messengers advantage tokens. He had 3 and 4 on them at a time, making them a 3/3, a 4/3. Who
yeah,
cares if they die? Because then are you really going to take them out? Or am I just going to leave them on the board and then, oh, look, now I'm giving them more advantage tokens?
yeah,
There's
maybe.
definitely plays you can make with those.
Yeah, there's some potential, but I'm not overly excited. I think we got to get through to we left off at Hera is where we left off, so we got a fair bit
Well,
to go still.
we're going to wrap up soon because we're almost at an hour right now. So we can come
Oh
back
yeah,
to
so
some of these stuff
let's
later.
well let's just hit the ones that are I think important on here. Like what are the ones that we really need to hit on? Maybe follow me. Um, maybe It's decent.
Rush action is the bigger one for me, just because the opponents discard a card. This is a
Rush action.
attack trigger, and it causes your opponents to discard a card. I love good discard because that's, I think, gives you good answers against control stuff. So,
Yep. I mean,
uh,
we got an Ewok warrior just because I want to highlight we have an Ewok. That makes me
sure.
happy. More
Yeah,
Ewoks, please. I want an Ewok tribal deck now.
do you remember my prediction at that Beaverton PQ of what the Homeworlds tokens are going to be?
Oh, you were thinking it was going to be Ewoks, which
It's going to be a command Ewok that's a 1/3 with hidden. We have an Ewok that is a hidden unit. So
yes.
we're already going that direction.
I mean, Ewoks make obvious sense for hidden. So yeah, I would expect that. And some probably is going to be. We'll probably get some support Ewoks this set too. Yeah, but yeah, rash action. I agree. I think that is of interest for me, for us. I think that could be a decent card.
I think 88 will probably see his gameplay. It's kind of a Pershing-esque ability, only in
Yeah.
green now. This is a bit of a bomb, especially for limited. I mean, a 5-cost 5/6 in space with overwhelm that gives advantage tokens,
Yes.
that can be huge.
Yeah, that's a
Long
bomb
Live
in
the
limited.
Empire is ramp. This card
Yeah,
is going to be
Imperial
gross. Conflict Within.
Yes. Conflict Within is Conflict Within is going to be very. This is your Condemn 2.0. Yes, it does not give the negative that Condemn gives, the negative to the attack, but making your opponent pay 3 anytime they want to ready this unit is going to shut that unit down a lot of the game, because it's hard to find 3 resources just to ready something.
Yep.
Even later in the game. That, if you're at 7-8 resources, do you really want to spend 3 and then only get a 3-4 drop? That's tough.
Yep. The Gonzati ship is a good support Imperial unit. Once again, another combination for using with Moff Gideon. This 4-cost just flat 5/5, I think we'll actually see some gameplay. It's got relevant tags, and if you look up a search engine and you look for 4-drops and 5/5s, you will find nothing at the moment.
Yeah.
So
no, I think that's a good one.
Fills a
yeah,
niche.
you mentioned it before. Like, it's good. I also think that Imperial Armored Commando is going to be pretty good. I like that a lot. A 4-cost 4/3 Sentinel with shielded. Love it. Shielded Sentinels are obnoxious. We all know that. It does have the con of, obviously, Assassin kills it immediately. So that 3 health Talzin's Assassin will kill it immediately. So there is that con.
Sure.
The 3 health is not great, but it's still, to have a shield is, I think, worth it.
I'm going to say we're going to see an increase in Piercing Shot, the red card that costs, I think it's 2 or 3. It does 3 damage and ignores shields, coming back into play vigorously as we get more and more shielded units. I think that's a card you're going to see more of. So,
yep, possibly. We'll skip the leaders. We'll come back to leaders later. I do like Far, Far Away a lot. I want to highlight that one. I think this is a very good bounce spell. Return a friendly non-leader unit to its hand. If you do, return an enemy non-leader to its owner's hand. The reason I really like this a lot is it does not have the restrictions Beguile has of a 6 cost or greater. So you can bounce your 2 cost and bounce their 8. Oh, sorry.
Beguile is 6 or less.
6 or less, yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's the 6 or less. It doesn't have that restriction. Yes, you do have to bounce one of your own, but for example, if you have a lot of ambush, there's plenty of time. There are plenty of times when you want to bounce your own units, that it's not the worst thing to do, along with getting rid of an opponent's threat.
Yeah, I think it just depends on what type of a deck you're playing. Going back to like your other card where you can bring something back from the graveyard to get its win played again. This is another card that if you're playing a win played heavy deck, you can run this and that, and now you are getting multiple cards that can trigger units multiple times. And I think that is potentially going to be gross if we get some really powerful win plays. I mean, already both things can be used with an Anakin Skywalker to give things -6, -6 over and over again, which is kind of gross in itself. So
yeah, so very good bounce spell for yellow. I would say, and another annoyance that Lando is going to be bringing to us all. Last couple here. Yeah, the Bothan 5 is fine. It's a decent ship. When another friendly non-vehicle is defeated, it can capture things. It captures the unit from your discard pile, so it keeps your non-vehicles alive. So there's definitely going to be some builds to be made around this. I just don't know what they are quite yet, but something to look at because being able to save your units that die is pretty useful.
I think this actually lends to potentially a Thrawn 4 green deck coming out of the woodwork.
I
Uh,
could see that,
where
yes.
you're going to want to kill your own units, and then they get saved by the Bothan 5, and that just kind of creates a piggy bank for you that eventually your opponents are going to have to deal with the Bothan 5, which is going to pop your Easter egg and everything comes spilling out. Because even if they take away the text on it, they're already captured. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
So then once the unit dies, here comes all your units. So I think if this gets put into play early and you can start utilizing it, the other one to consider this with is DJ,
Yeah.
a unit that you can put into
Yeah.
play early, and then now you can start putting your units underneath this that died. So as you're killing off the units to pop your other units into play, those units then go under this ship so that when this ship dies, they come back out and you kind of create like this seesaw effect of units coming in and out of play via the capture mechanic on a DJ. It is also something to note that they have said that this is the only card in Ashes that has a capture mechanic on it.
Yep.
So
Yeah. I'm intrigued. And yeah, I agree. I think it's a card that is going to close about making, could be
you're
very powerful with the
you're
right
cutting
build.
out. Are your
Oh,
AirPods dying?
no.
Is that what's going on?
Nope. They are fully charged. They were fully charged. I don't know what's going on today, but
Okay.
I apologize, everyone. But yeah, no, what I was saying, just finishing up, Ben, yeah, yeah, definitely a card. Keep an eye on this, test it. It could be very good.
So all right, well, I
Yeah.
think that's going to wrap us up for today. As I said, we're at like an hour of just yamming on about
Yeah.
Ashes cards. I mean, overall, I think that we're going to get some interesting mechanics and interesting things are going to pop out, and we're going to see what we can do. Stay tuned with us, though. Our Thursday throwdowns leading up to Galactics are going to be filled with Ashes modified decks as I print and play
Yes.
all of these things against Corey and throw him a few cards to play against me at the same time. So,
Yeah, we got a fun one for this week, and we're already talking about some fun stuff for to record this weekend for upcoming. So yeah, we've got
yep.
some fun builds coming.
All right. Thank you guys very much, and we'll see you next time.
All right, thanks everybody.